and begin. And inhale. Om Namo Gurudev Namo.
Om Namo
Namo
Gurudev
Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Adkare
Name
Jugat Kare Sad Kare
Name Sri Gurudev Name Adkare Name Jugat Gurudev Name Sat Gurudev
Name
Sri
Siri
Gurudev Name
Adkare Name Jugat
Satguru Name, Satguru Name, Sri Gurudev Name.
Long deep breath. And breathe. And as you know, you see the chat. Japa Saraswati, can you?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, I'm pasting it again into the chat. And we've got, let's see, Gian Das Prem, I'm about to read the prompt, so please tune in on your own time. So here's the prompt from Baba Siri Chand. Today, for our chat for Baba Siri Chand, he is asking what you most need to know during this change to the Aquarian Age. Do we have it? What we most need to know?
Yeah. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay. So if you have a pen and paper, write down what your question is or are. And Gian Das Prem, be sure that you are tuning in.
I have before. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Now we're going to have 1 minute for heart pumping. And after that, we'll have meditation for your answers from Baba Siri Chand. And for 3 minutes. Okay, now first with heart pumping and begin. Now begin heart breath. And listen to Baba Siri Chand. And inhale. And exhale. And breathe. Okay. Now, each one, first be sure that you are talking about your question. And then after that, listen to Baba Siri Chand about his question. Okay, Aagia Pal.
So I've been listening to Baba Siri Chand about my question. And this is some of which the answer I don't quite understand, but I think it's hugely rich. So what I hear from Baba Siri Chand is
No, what's the question first?
Oh, well, the question is the question that you raised, right? What do I need to know during this change? So I asked him, what do I need to know? I don't even know what I need to know. Can you please let me know what I need to know?
Okay.
Okay. And so what he told me was that this is a journey that and I'm not the only one, is on toward truth. And I've been living in, and I do live in a dualistic world, bad, good, etc., etc. And he said, look at yourself from the different perspectives. One is intellectual, I wrote down. Another is look at yourself from an emotional point of view. Another is look at yourself physically, and then finally look at yourself ecologically. So all this came really quickly. The first part of, so intellectually, what do I need to know intellectually on this journey toward truth? He seemed to tell me a focus on education, and probably because I've been in education my whole life. And he said that education is on the edge right now. The values of the old values of education are kaput. He said, like, the old values are gone. Now we teach to the test, and in the university, where what I'm most familiar with is, students have a belief that they pay money for their course and they should get their A. Not everyone, mind you, but so he said to me, and this freaked me out, because this is exactly, and I was listening to him, it was exactly what I have been thinking, that the educational system needs to be, there needs to be a shift in our educational system from the patriarchal, dualistic teacher student kind of thing, to and also the factory, assembly line from the first grade to the second grade to, very linear. It needs to be shifted to and this is what I was doing right before I retired, is everybody sits in a circle. There's no rows and columns. No one is greater, no one is less than. And I am also learning. So in order to be a good teacher, I need to be a really good student. So that's what he said, change the format to circles. And then he said, and this is also what I'm very interested, told people, I said, I'm more interested in your questions, honestly, than in the answers. And everybody kind of looks at me like crazy. And I said, and what he told me was dialogue. So sit in circles and dialogue and learn from each other and understand the diversity. And so we come to a convergence, sort of understanding opposites. And he said also, and free vibrating on, if we're vibrating on different frequencies from each other, we can come to a center. We can learn from other opinions, etc., and others can learn from us. So the idea is, through this dialogue, we work toward getting onto the same frequency, so to speak, of understanding. And so anyway, without going on, but it was amazing, because I'm like, yes, this is just what, how I felt, and never really expressed it. Just did it in the classes. And second, okay, and then emotionally, he said to pay a special attention to my soul work. Exactly what he said. So take part in circles, like sadhana circles, like this, Um, and the learn, it's sort of integrate what I'm learning from everyone in the group. And so process, I think it's like process my emotions, and I'll most definitely allow space for compassion for the others, for others. Next was physically. Physically was lots of exercise, lots more than even now what I do. Physically helping others, self-care, we've talked about this. And so I need to know that I need to definitely attend to physical, the body. And then finally, ecologically, he said, and this is very important, he said, to recognize that I am part of a web. I am part of the web of life. And he pointed me in the direction of the earth, and to back to the earth, to plant, to till the soil, to plant whatever is needed to grow, to reap what comes, to process my food, and to share and eat my food. And he said that the CSAs that are around to support the community supported agricultural, like Starlight Farms and Gardens, which is down the street. So he said, we must get back to the land. He said, factory farming is polluting us more than oil and so forth. It's extremely destructive. And he said, get back to the land and growing your own food. And and then this is how you recognize that you are in the web, a part of the web of life. And again, not truth, oneness, right? Not dual. There's me and here's the animals. It's I'm one with all of them. So and then finally he said to understand that people will not understand this. So what is seemingly paradoxical in dualism is actually true in unity, in truth. And yep, and that's what he said. So that's what I need to know. There's a whole ton of stuff, I imagine, as I sit and contemplate this. There's a lot more in each of these categories for me to learn and to shift. I feel the shift happening. It's not really comfortable. However, and also clueless. I have to sit and ask him more about how to be a part of this web of life, and in what ways don't I see? Maybe obviously I don't see how I connect to the web of life, and to envision myself more a part of every living being. And with that, I'll pass.
Well, that's a lot.
Yeah, he just dumped a lot of stuff on me. All just wow.
Wonderful. Okay. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Okay. So now, Sahaj. Sahaj, are you there?
I am. I'm not sure. It might be a good idea for somebody else to go next rather than me.
I can't quite understand you.
Oh, it might be a better idea for somebody else to go before me. I'm not quite really ready.
Okay. Would you do you want to say other people later?
Yes, please.
Okay. Okay. Gian Das Prem.
Satnam. So, my question was, will outer source come to our inner consciousness as a simple change, or do we need to be silenced as we ride?
As you
And
ride?
the answer, as we ride, do we need to be silenced as we ride? Which I'm interpreting as, we've been staying a lot for thousands of years, and we're riding on this planet, right? We're on a ball, we're on a bubble, we're on an egg that's traveling through space at hundreds of miles an hour. And Baba Siri Chand just sort of, spun around at however billions of miles an hour and said to me, what is good and what is bad? Are they equals? Are they there to turn to change us? And why is he asking me that question? Because Source has a way of supplying information to us, okay? Removing the way to allow the way is not always human. It's not only human. The inner space and the outer space create deep listening of Source and letting go. Letting go allows information to be brought in, all information, any information. And what I am being told is that if we return to the variant within the mom's womb, within the womb of any life, whether it be ice turning into water and then returning back to life in another form, he's telling me that and wanting the air to be known as the freedom that we are given, that it's a tool the same as water, the same as our language. And been giving some symbols that look really weird, but they're basically circles that have lines through them. One of them looks like not infinity. Infinity just has round, or divinity. Okay, I apologize. Source can be aware of what we are reaching for. And I believe now that as a human consciousness, we're reaching for freedom, for total freedom, without rules, without explanations, that we are coming to being a part of what is allowing us to be. And in that way, we can come back to the noticing of the elements that are here, the how smooth sand is, how smooth water is, and that those two ingredients create me allowing to speak. So when we say less, we have the ability to do more. And that's why when we sit silently, we can come out with formulas, we can come out with designs, we can come out with colors, numbers, art. And what Baba Siri Chand is telling me is that he has friends, that we're all friends, that we're here together, that we're not to be forgotten. and that we have reminders from within each of the group and the surrounding group and source as the group of matter that is allowed to move freely throughout the universe, and that the ease that we do it is, can be difficult because we have this body that we're in. And to keep it simple and short, we have experiences that we go through, and we have joy and we have pain, and coming together like with that and noticing all of the history that we've had. And we've been tested to learn, and we have memories that go beyond this life, beyond my speaking now. I believe that we have memories that are attached to the matter, that are attached to every grain of sand, each molecule of air that I breathe. And Sare Sasa, I'm given Sare Sasa with some of these weird symbols that I wrote down. Maybe I haven't been practicing it. This was probably one of the first mantras that I learned, and one of the most difficult hand movements for me because my shoulders were just so messed up. Um, Sometimes embracing the pain and embracing the joy, and mixing those two together to this, like a pot of stew, that becomes you, and then we are allowed to swim in that pot. So yeah, and the messages coming in from, the outside are, we are sort of we're like a melon sort of, I've been, my head's been related to a melon before in joking manners by people that I have known throughout my time. So I think, being in that, like having your chin up and trying to sit down straight and being in it, all day, like how we breathe is it's a ripe melon, so we have the chance to notice that fruit again, like going back, and through this progression of our talks and how they build and how they are fortified on the foundations of love and truth and being, with all of these other species that have just, it's so amazing. So they are alien, right? If I don't know a certain type of fish and then I see it, it's alien to me. So, and the opening of that, of nothing being alien, of allowing it to that source, I think is the thinking part. We think and we think and we think, and then we somehow are allowed to escape that thinking when we sleep, or even when we meditate. Sometimes we can get lost, right? I apologize for being late today. I was in deep meditation. I actually thought I was here in the group. But luckily we have the circadian rhythm within us that can allow us, to be told certain information. And yes, that's when we can come back to that. I love you. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. And we're not forgotten, And as part of this group, like I've been giving poems and words that I really want to share with you privately because it's just so important. But I'm having Lawton talk to me now, and he's been, telling me like, oh, that there's no way to be forgotten, and not just because my name is Lawton. Um, I'm a lover boy, full of joy, and that this way of our communicating together from beyond, like, and from within, is who we are. Like, we have this ability to be so free to release these walls that are up between us all, with set up by ideas and thoughts, that we are actually coming together and we are creating new ways for our freedom to become easier. To, for me to say, I don't think anybody dies. I just think that they leave their body. The communication to me doesn't end. Otherwise, why would I be reminded? Like, I can sit here and think of when I was a child and go back to this moment, and I was sitting in the sandbox for some reason, Mom called everyone, everyone ran away. It was lunchtime, and I was like sitting there, and I had some of the best conversations because all those people just left. They just ran away. Oh, I need to eat. Oh, I need to go here. I need to do that. And I was just with the sand saying to me, dude, you don't need to go anywhere. You don't need to do anything. And then, 5 minutes later, I was, away with that new idea, and I could hear the people, and then I would go join them. So there's a way of coming back home, I think, in that reminder that allows us to be in that Wahe Guru of that circle of, yeah. And the reminder of the other species are so inherent in my, being comforted by a cat or being comforted by a bug. Um, from the practice, I mean, yeah, and that's something that together we could do and that we're working together. But the vibrancy of the womb is just really coming through, and that laying down, and looking up at the sky and just being part of that image of, here I am and here we are, and yeah. So Wahego doing that, and let love bring us together, and continue to bring us together, and the lessons that we have to learn through the people that we're being shown, and these unlimited possibilities of how to know the truth. Yeah. So in the breathing, and thank you so much.
Okay.
Wahego.
Thank you so much. Thank you, dear.
Can I just say one more thing?
Sure.
Um, I went for a walk the other day, and I usually don't walk in malls, but something told me to go walk in this mall, and I walked in this mall, and there was a phone booth there that you could go up to and talk to the aliens, because I'm in Washington now, and they're really big on alien sightings and light, and there was a phone booth there that said, what do what was it that you would like to express to the aliens, or do you have any wishes to them, or, to the further beings that allow the matter to come here and create life. And now this becomes part of the conversation. So I think in that way of us speaking out, it's really beautiful to have that Waheguru in there. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you, dear. Okay.
Mm.
Okay. So now, how about Ved Bachan?
Satnam.
No.
Um, Today it was pretty, like, there was a lot of silence in my meditation, which I think is just an important message of just being neutral and open and present during like so much moving change. And an image that came was just myself as a flower. So like being a flower, which is just like, connected to the earth and open to the light and sending out, our own fragrance and energy through right where we are, through our heart. And there's nothing that we have to actually do for that. It's just like sitting, standing, and just being soul. And the other message was just surrendering fully to soul and the divine, like knowing that will be caught, will be held. And I think that for me, that message sort of came earlier, just while I was chanting this morning. There was just a lot of, it felt like a lot of old pain coming up to the surface. And as I was chanting and just like allowing myself to feel that and connect to it, it felt like the pain from these systems of that create sort of separation, isolation, and competition, which are all like no longer really relevant in the Aquarian age. It's like working together and being in community and supporting each other through our own gifts. And so, yeah, it just was in contemplation about a lot of that through just allowing the emotion and of like fear and non-belonging and just all of these old things sort of shifting out of, I guess, my system. So yeah, just the space to listen and feel is super important during this time. I think that's it. Yeah.
How wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay.
City,
So,
I can go now if you'd like, so that then Sahaj and Sat City can form their thoughts.
okay.
Okay. So my question to Baba was basically just, what do I need to know about preparing for this big transition? And I had been reading, I don't know, recently about tapas, and because I love tapas, or I love reading about tapas, and I got a new understanding.
Wait a minute. Are you talking about tapas? Tapas?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, and I got a new understanding of it during our meditation today, because so tapas are one of the niyamas, which is one of the 8 limbs of yoga. But what I was reading, it's not just the heat. It's the heat that's needed for transformation, and sometimes it's called like a burning enthusiasm. And it is the energy that is used to transform and transmute. It burns away impurities, um, and it helps to create an inner focus. Like when the impurities aren't there, the person or whatever it is becomes so much more of a clear channel and a pure, like a vessel for this. So the message that I got from Baba was to embrace the tapas as an early adaptation. And I saw this, I wondering how I'm going to put it into words. I think I'm going to say it anyway. So it's not about like it's not about like self-flagellation or self-punishment, but it is about self-discipline and creating positive habits, that then leads to right use of energy. So there are 3 departments that tapas like work in. There's mind, speech, and body. So for the body, tapas is usually, it includes eating an alkalizing diet or a sattvic diet. It also includes nonviolence, so like not beating yourself or somebody else up in a way that like physically could be hurtful, and chastity or right use of energy, which is also brahmacharya. So then there's speech. So in speech, the 3 things to ask yourself when embracing tapas in speech is it truthful? Is it kind? And is it necessary? So that means that excludes mean talk, that excludes lying, that excludes gossip and like hateful, it saying unkind things basically. And in the mind, tapas is it's also sattvic. And so what it does is it limits the undulation. So in the mind, we have vritti, Vritti, which are the undulations of the mind. And a mind that's doing tapas is using a sattvic currency or current or undulation, so that it's not having really vicious, cruel thoughts. It's not planning a big heist or caper. It's not working double time. It is focused on, on pretty steady sort of track, and it also engages in meditation. And when a person is doing all of these tapas, they have a lot more energy to use for other purposes. It's actually like the vritti, which are the undulations, look just like a roller coaster. And if you're stuck on that kinetic energy, sort of up and down and up and down and moving, that's like a tremendous use of energy. And that same thing it mirrors in the body, and it mirrors in the energetic frequency that we put out. So when we are not doing those big up and downs, and we're actually going on, not, it doesn't have to be like a dead straight thing, but like just sort of a gently rolling, maybe, or gentle movements, that gives us so much more energy to use on any self project, on sustaining the self. Like, that energy could be spent on self-care. It could be spent on the garden, which could be your self-care. It could be spent on like any number of other things. But if we are so busy, it makes us very busy, not doing tapas, that like. And in fact, it's really funny to notice that there are people that I know who seem so virtuous and they're incredibly busy, but actually it feels very frenetic for me to be around them, and recognizing that as a way of them not doing austerity. But what else Baba said is that we're having this increasing pace, that it's going to be unrelenting, and that there's no let up in the pace for the future. So we will be able to use that energy. We will need that energy to spend on ourselves, because the pace is getting so much faster. This is part of right use of energy. This is part of brahmachari and stewarding our energy properly. And so I told Baba, though, I said, I want more time for meditation. Like, this pace doesn't necessarily agree with me. I want to be sitting by you more and more and more. And this pace is like icky for me. And what he said was to tune in, and that we are processing things in the Aquarian age faster than ever before, that we need less processing time, and that we don't need the intensely long meditations that were necessary in the past. And he said, just allow, and trust that you will hear the message that you need to hear. And the other thing that I wanted to touch on, another thing that I wanted to touch on is like, when you see people who, I'm having this image of like, I'm picturing like a felonious biker, like somebody with a lot of tattoos and a criminal record. And this is a totally stereotyping sort of thought, but like, I'm picturing like a guy that eats and drinks really heavily, and those, like, that opposite of tapas, like that's sort of a very self-indulgent lifestyle, getting into fights, and eating a really acid producing diet, and maybe saying mean, horrible things to the other people, that like, you wouldn't think of the two ends of sattvic and tamasic being so far apart in energy management. I don't know how to say it. Baba keeps on showing it to me though. Oh, can we skip on, because I don't know how to make the words come out quite right. I'm trying to say that that guy is using so much more energy than the sattvic person, and that you wouldn't think that you know, like the little yogi is maybe that you might think that the other guy is much more powerful looking. You might think that the other guy looks like he's really living the top life, you know, eating high on the hog, living high on the hog. But it's really the yogi living the sattvic life on the other end with all of this self-discipline that is actually really wielding and yielding a lot of power. And that's an incredibly powerful position to be in. It's not a position of weakness. It's actually, that's what I'm trying to say, is that that position of tapas is not a position of being bent down and weak, and that if the austerities are making you feel weak, that's too far. That's not sattvic. But what is healthy sattvic tapas is really sweet, treating oneself really sweetly, but it's also being so sweet with our use of energy that we're not prone to big displays that are wasting our energy foolishly. Instead, it's actually like really conserving the energy and helping us in the much bigger picture. That's it. That was what I was trying to say.
Great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you all are doing so much beautifully. Thank
Thank
you so
you.
much.
Thank you.
Okay. So, Salt City. Are you there?
If she's not, I can go. This is Sahaj.
Okay. Salt City, I've unmute yourself. Okay. So now let's go for Harimandir.
Okay. um, I'm going to start off with what happened during this call.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. It's going to be longer for this session. Is this okay for everybody? Okay, continue. Thank you, Harimandir. Go ahead.
During the call, I got a message from my goddaughter, who is Ojibwa in Red Lake, Minnesota. And she, within a week, there had been 2 deaths within the Red Lake jail system. And there have been 7 within the last 2 years, but there have been 2 in the last week. And all they're saying is it was an accident or something. There's nothing specific of how they died. And so I want to, while we're all here, to send heart breath or prayers to the Red Lake jail system, but also all the jail systems, including, where is it, El Salvador right now, and the names of the 2, as my goddaughter said, you know, they're all friends. I mean, it's a small community, so people know each other. And the young woman that died is her uncle's daughter, and her name is Amanda. And today or yesterday, Kenny Hansen. So I would like to put them into the
Healing.
into the healing, yes,
Yes.
as well as the whatever's happening in jails everywhere.
Got it. Okay. So are you also talking about other things from Baba Siri Chand?
The other, essentially, the word is listen, and taking blame out of our experience. It's similar to what other people are saying. The anger that so many people are feeling is, as we know, is fear. And fear is a very powerful emotion that can easily spiral out into anger and blame. And for me, it's not so much blame, sure, but it's not so much anger as it is irritation, which is a really it's a small anger that is niggling, biting us kind of thing. It was just, this is a time when the most powerful thing, a powerful thing that we can do is work on ourselves within those intellectual, emotional, physical, and ecological areas. The other thing that Sir Gian, more specifically Siri Gian than Yogi Bhajan back in the day, I don't know where she got it, but be careful of your money, because there will be a time, or there could be a time, where there'll be runs on the banks. And I mean, the whole economic system is being dismantled. And to look at don't put all your money in one place or one bank, spread it out so that back in the day, annuity was a suggestion of, so that there would be something coming in every month, kind of thing. But
Like CDs?
not CDs. You had done an annuity so that something would come in every month. You'd put money in, and they'd keep paying you. It's kind of like Social Security. It's something that comes in every month that supports you when. But whether that would work, as the economy is being dismantled, look for self-care within that also. And so patience, self-care on all these different levels. And there is some activism that is being required, I think, if only what's the word? Vibrationally. Some are called to do it by vibration. Some are called to start asking questions, getting to the truth, that kind of thing. So that's what I got.
Okay. And so now, would we take 1 minute for heart breath or healing for these two wonderful people from Ojibwa? Okay, and begin.
Oh,
A little more. And inhale. And continue with your heart breath. And for the continuing with our day, keep it up. Okay, Sat City. Are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. It's been a kind of tumultuous morning. First, I started the day off. I'm working in a dahlia farm, which that's my first day back, digging up tubers and sorting out between the dead and the living, which turned out to be really interesting because while I work, I listen to this incredible rabbi. And if it's okay with you guys, I'll send you he's a very, very devout Jew, of course, and taken to YouTube to help people in this really difficult period. And today he spent his whole time talking about the soul. It was a total soul discussion and how the soul gets embodied, where it comes from. It's just fantastic. And he talks about where we go after we die. I can't even summarize it. It's so rich and so in sync with our Sikh perspective on it. So I was like 2.5 hours while I was thinking of the dahlia tubers getting really dirty, and had mistakenly taken my housemate's keys when I left this morning. So she was upset with me. Feeling incredibly elevated and ready for this call. And when I disappeared for a little while, that was my roommate calling, saying, "Do you have my keys?" And she was really enraged. I'm like, "I'm really sorry, but I'll come pick you up from work and give them back to you." But the main point is,
wait a minute.
I just said, I picked up her keys. I said, "Please, I'm really sorry." I think I was already kind of in a trance even getting ready, leaving the house, just getting ready for this really deep spiritual day that's happening. So I will send you guys, if it's okay, I'll send it to Siri Gan, and Siri Gan, if you could send out this very beautiful, articulate, and this particular rabbi has a very good sense of humor, and there's a lot of laughter and lightheartedness around the topic of birth, death, the soul, merging with God, all this stuff. So what happened to me as soon as I tuned in was a call, and Baba Siri Chand and Guru Ramdas just saying a call should be on your, in your heart and on your breath at all times going forward. And I'm hoping everybody, a call is a chant that seeks when liberating the soul at death, and it's a release into eternity. And that's something that this rabbi talks a lot about, which will really resonate with what we're talking about today. So I highly recommend listening to it. So, and I started asking, so, okay, what, he said, prepare to help people die. There's going to be a lot of people dying, and a call, chanting a call will give really great healing and non-sufferance. I'm just taking a break.
Okay. Can you tell us the name of this rabbi?
Yes. Let me go look it up. Hold on one second. My boss just showed up. So yeah, it's a steam bath in the greenhouse. Okay, so Rabbi, oh, here he is. Okay. And I'm going to move my picture. What it really means to die. And I'm trying to get his name to come up. He's got white hair. He looks like a Sikh, white, long beard. I'm having trouble getting his. Here, I've got him here. This is the story of being born. Okay,
Okay, so Siri, when you have it together, can you put that on our chat?
yes. So, in summary, Akal. Read the book on death and dying that was written by one of our sisters in the Dharma. Can you remember her name in the book? She writes all the hard. Joe, yeah. So I'll research that and send you a text, Sirian, and then if you could send it out to everybody, that would help.
That'll be great.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you.
sorry, it's just been a kind of crazy, hectic day. But Akal.
Good.
And I'll send along a really good definition of it.
Okay.
And
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, and sorry I have to leave.
Okay.
The Hefe's here.
Okay.
All right, bye-bye. Satnam.
Okay. Now, wait a minute. Do we have, Sahaj.
Satnam, I am here.
I'm trying to get off the phone.
Oh, thank you, Satsiri, for the calls. 2 thumbs up
Yes,
on
and
that.
can you do a calls for the gal who got killed in prison?
Yes, I
The
already
whole group?
did.
Okay, and if you guys could do it as a whole group, and if anybody has their names, that's the other direction I got. I'm so glad you kept me on the line. Thank you. Satnam.
Satnam.
Okay.
Well, forget your shoes.
So this has been interesting for me because I started out thinking.
I need a Pepsi.
Satsiri, you need to mute. Okay, there we go.
I just did it.
Okay. This has been wild. First of all, I just wanted to say I wanted to jump and shout when Satsiri said You have to start, you know, a call needs to be on your lips all the time. About, I don't know, maybe 15 years ago, I got that message so loud and clear. And I was at summer solstice and I was going around talking to every teacher I knew. And I was like, you have to start teaching your students to chant a call. It's really important. and, and I had one situation where I had this like weird blowback. It was really, and it was like, it's not so much like I was personally affronted. It was just like I was sort of taken aback because the message was so clear and so urgent to me. And I'm like, what, like, where, how would you just not do this? Like, it's free. You know, it's like, but some people like to establish a hierarchy of control, whatever. Anyways, I say yes, that is huge. And also, um, uh, listening to Sut City, I got my answer also. This is how it has happened for me today is amazing. I am in Oregon this morning, and it's such an incredible departure. There's birds singing, and there's air is just fragrant with the smell of flowers, and it's straight up spring, which feels like midsummer to me. But my heart was really heavy before I left Juneau, and took me a while to get going this morning. But anyways, I know that I always doubt that I'm going to hear anything. I don't know why. I just accept that that's part of, you know, what's going on in my psyche. It's, you know, it's an old thing and I can pat it on the head and say, yes, dear. Okay, well, let's just take a walk down to the river. So I am on a river, the beautiful Mackenzie River, and there's a little boat launch just at the end of the property where I'm staying. And Gian Das Prem had that beautiful message from Lottie, and I just couldn't believe it because the way he said it, it just cracked me up. It reminded me when he was like, you know, younger, like teen, or when they'd be doing their raps, their rhymes, and Lawton was always really good at that. And like just him saying, "I'm a joy boy," it was just like so purely Lawton. And so my friend had told me there was a boat launch at the end of her property. So I walked down there and I'm like, well, I'll just go say hello to the river and I'll put my feet in. And I turned and there's an engraving on a big rock there that you can hardly see. And it says fish on. And then below it is someone's name engraved. And I was like, oh my God, Lottie. Because that was just like such a big part of his life. And so um I am reminded of his presence, his real presence here and all around me. And I'm super grateful for that. And then when somebody was talking, oh, Japa Saraswati was talking and giving this description, trying to make a point about something, and was talking about this big biker on their Harley and they're eating meat and all this stuff. And all of a sudden there was my brother Steven laughing his head off. He's like 6'4". He had this golden mane of hair and a red beard and a big Harley. And he ate a lot of meat. But I saw this like joke he said to me one time when someone would call him a biker. He rolled up his sleeves and he said, "Do you see any tattoos?" And people would say no. He goes, "I'm a motorcycle enthusiast." But like that in itself was a joke. But he was laughing and showing me that we can. It's hard to explain. I could see the whole picture because I could see all of him that I know, and he had this giant heart, and he was such a um I realize now when I give this description so very much like my son. Just like so concerned about vulnerable people or people who are on the fringes. And, um, you know, to some people, he looked like a big, scary guy because he was a big guy and he rode a big Harley, but he had a giant heart. And then I was hearing that, be careful about your judgments, lest you be entertaining angels unawares. And that's sort of a mishmash of the scripture that was quoted from, but that's what I was hearing. And also that there's no such thing as a waste of energy. Like the description was like the big biker and the little yogi and the whole thing, but like that's an illusion too. Like the little yogi might not be so humble, so it's we just have to be careful. We just have to be careful in our projections, and there is no such thing as a waste of energy. Just like we don't die, there's no such thing as a waste of energy. Some of us come in and our lives are like this blaze of light and then we go. And some of us come in and we're a steady glow and we walk steadily and have a long path and then we go. Neither one of those is a waste. It's all what is given and what we choose to do with that in the space of our lifetime, which has to do with our own soul, and the reality that just even saying my own soul is dichotomy, because we are all also one essence. And somebody said it today. It was so beautiful. I think someone said it here that, or I don't know where I heard it, but I heard this. We are all one just from zillions of different perspectives. Oh, and then in the very beginning, I had written down, what is my purpose and how do I survive? And underneath how do I survive was written shlok. And I was hearing Pavanguru Panipata, that whole, because someone was also talking about the natural world, which is also why I went to the river. And everything around me is saying, yes, you already know what your remedy is. Your remedy is to stick very, very close to the natural world. And also being here, it's showing me that, where I am right now may not be where I need to stay. And that I also have to be careful about my projections about, just like I have to be careful about my projections about other people, I have to be careful about my projections about place and how fixed things are. But so I know that I need to stick with Japji, and I'm not going to explain all that because we can all go look at the Japji and the Shlok and see what that means. That just particularly is speaking to me today. And then the last thing is, under what is my purpose? After Sat City was talking, I was like, of course, I've always known this: help people die and help the people that survive the deaths. So I've had quite a lot of black tea today, so I hope I'm not too long-winded. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, dear. Sahaj, is that it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you so much. And we got this cute picture from Gian Das Prem with this little puppy and flower. Thank you so much. Okay. So now we all learned a great deal, didn't we? Yes, this is very important. And let's do with these two Ojibwe for those two people dying. So let's do a call for 3 times, long a call, and begin. Akal.
Akal.
Breathe. And know that these people are moving to their beautiful soul. Okay. Aagia Pal, can you lead our song?
Sure. Deep inhale and exhale. And inhale to begin. May the sun shine
upon you. All love surround you. And the pure light within you guide your way on.
guide
Guide
your
your
way
way
on.
on.
Guide
Guide your way on.
Inhale. Bless you all. And let us keep us to understand what's happening with these changes. Love you all. See you.
Love you all. Sadnam, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Thank
Nam.
you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, everybody.